So you guys know Bruce Lee, right? Who knows Bruce Lee? Yes. I just like to see hands go up. Okay, everyone knows Bruce Lee. Who knows the cartoon's Avatar? Some. Don't worry, you don't have to know them. We all know the elements, right? So in a complete martial art, we work with water, air, but I refer to it as wind. So water, wind, earth, and fire. Now they all have a physical, mental, and emotional element to them. What happened, hard external styles, they exist roughly 100 to 250 years. Soft internal styles go back like 2,000 years, if you look at like Tai Chi. And at one point to create a sport, they took out the water and wind element because you can't get on a scale and weigh how much air you have. You can't weigh how much water you have, but you can weigh how much you weigh, so it made it fair. But a soft internal style, using all the elements, was meant for realistic self-defense. So also against someone who's a lot bigger, a lot stronger. So the elements have a self-defense element to it. But don't worry if you have zero interest in martial arts, that's okay. You don't have any interest in martial arts whatsoever. Most people have a little interest, even if they're doing it or not. So the water, wind, earth, fire element have the physical side, the mental side, and the emotional side to it. So physically, and that's what we're going to be doing a little bit, the water and wind element are more the relaxed elements. So you could say the turning of the hip, the waist, and the shoulder, together with the major joints, actually the ankle, knee, hip, shoulder, elbow, wrist, and we refer to this as the snake engine. And the water element, maybe another example of the water element is like the shock absorbers under your car. That sounds a little tougher than water. I actually tell children water is the strongest element. Try to break water. You can't break water. So you can compare the water element to like when you're driving in a car, you go over the road and you don't go over the road going bam, 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 or you have a pretty bad car. So you're absorbing the road. You're not fighting it. So our whole body is actually able to absorb this. So if you look at Tai Chi, right? Who else? Anyone else do Tai Chi? Tai Chi, a little Tai Chi. Yeah, I'm teaching Tai Chi now. So you'll notice if you look closely, people aren't doing this with their arms, but it's actually the hips moving the arms. How long did you do Tai Chi?
6 years.
Okay. So then you know what I'm talking about, right? So the hip is the main engine. The hip is the main engine, and the waist. And the arms are moving a lot less than it actually appears, right? Okay, so the water and wind element are more in the self-defense sense, the defensive elements. The earth is the grounding element, which we're going to do. You do have to be grounded. It's also the strength, you could say, but we use a different kind of strength. It comes from relaxation. It doesn't actually come from brute physical power. It comes from your tendon straining. And the fire is the speed. But you don't have to be faster. You're more efficient and effective with time, space, and energy. Now, how does this relate to stress? So the water and wind element are also the more calm, compassionate, being less reactive, more responsive, the awareness, taking the time to see what's going on, empathy, love, all the positive ones. And if you saw Avatar, it doesn't mean that earth and fire is necessarily bad. So that's the water and wind element, right? So stepping aside, giving width. And earth is the grounding element, and sometimes you need that. Sometimes you have to stand for something. You might want to defend yourself or stand up for equal rights or against animal abuse. So there are moments where you have to be very earth, but it can also be stubborn. This is my position, this is the way it is, that's what I think, and I'm not budging, I'm not moving. So it could be stubborn. And fire can also be stress. Dutch people, I've been living here for almost 40 years. I have a Dutch mother, originally American, you probably didn't notice. 40 years, yeah, almost 40 years. So Dutch people, I think, are very polite people till they get behind their steering wheels. Then they can sometimes get a little aggressive. Maybe that's every country, right? So you see a lot of stress in the traffic, right? Shouting and stuff like that. So people can very fire. So fire can be negative, but it can also be passion. It can also be going for something. And the idea is, it's not for me or anyone else to say which element you should be more of. I think that's very personal.